You're watching Oklahoma Horizon with Rob McClendon. Weekly insight into your changing world.
To say that Porsha Lippincott had a bit of a rough takeoff early on in life is an understatement. Homeless at 17 and literally living in a refrigerator box, she was desperate for a new direction. And with some help from others and a lot of initiative of her own, Porsha's life and career is now flying high at 50,000 feet. Teaching night students at Metro Tech's Aviation campus.
And make sure you guys are careful with those heating elements.
It's easy to see instructor Porsha Lippincott knows her way around a jet engine.
Are you guys labeling each part that you take out?
But it's not always been that way. Homeless at 17, Porsha was living out of a refrigerator box.
I had just recently got a job at Sonic, so every day I would sleep in the box and go to Sonic, come home, sleep in the box, and I did it for 3 months. So one day at Sonic in the morning, I get a phone call. It's a lady from Norman North, and she's a counselor, and I kind of just broke down and told her everything that was going on. Well, she told me to stand by, and she would call me right back. About 5 minutes later, I got her and Bridges, which is an independent homeless shelter for kids, who called saying that they wanted to meet me that day. They showed me this cute little apartment in this house that was all to myself, and they told me, this is where we want you to live. Go back to school, you could work, we'll help you get a car or whatever you need to do to go to school. And that day I moved in.
And Porsha's life began to turn around. A roof over her head, and even saving some money.
I found this 93 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It had like 7 different colors going on, but I was okay with it. I paid $1,000 for it. It ran. There were some kind of sketchy things about it, like the gas. I never knew when the gas was going to run out because the meter was going. But as the time went on, my car started to act a lot different, and then it started to break down. And then one day it just didn't start at all. It was $1,907 to repair this oil pan gasket. At that time, I had no idea what any of that meant. I went on YouTube and I looked up what an oil pan gasket was, and it was on a 93 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and they were showing how you took off all these bolts, 27 of them, took down the oil pan, took off the gasket, put a new one on, put the oil pan back up, bolted it down, put some oil in, and you were good to go. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. I could do this. 7 hours later, which nowadays it wouldn't take me 7 hours, but it did. 7 hours later, I had my car running, and it actually ran better than it did before.
Turning a crisis into an opportunity.
So I graduated high school, got my high school diploma. When I got done, they had already filled out paperwork for me to go to Moore Norman Technology Center to go and be a mechanic over there, and I did. And when I got done, I got my ASEs. So that was my whole getting out of being homeless and onto my own feet with a cool certification.
And while Porsha enjoyed working on cars and trucks, life was still often a struggle.
At the time, I was actually working 3 jobs. 4 hours of sleep was okay for me, but when it became me being pregnant, I couldn't do 4 hours of sleep anymore. At that time, I was put on some government assistant programs, and they had referred me to come out to Metro Tech Aviation because I already had automotive. When I enrolled, they had told me about Metro Tech's foundations. They had told me about some of the welfare foundations, and I was able to get on almost every single one of them. So when I got out here, my tools, my books, my certifications, my class, everything was paid for. All I had to do was come to school and learn, and then go home and be happy.
And while school was paid for, it still takes money to live.
I mean, I still had bills that I had to pay, and I didn't have a nighttime job because I really couldn't do that with my son. While I was struggling, one of my teachers, Mr. Hensley, told me that Metro Tech Foundation still had other benefits that I could benefit from. He told me that they could help me pay for gas and rent. And so I called and I told them the stuff that I was going through. I proved to them that I was having a hard time, and they helped me pay for rent, and they actually paid for my gas for a while. So I was able to go through school. I didn't have to get a second job. When I got done here, I had applied to tinker 8 months before I graduated here, and right when I graduated, they sent me a letter saying, "We'd like you to come work for us. Your start date is October 6th." And so October 6th, I started at Tinker.
And Porscha's career took off.
Other than the awesome amount of money you could make, which is awesome, you have people that are grateful. You have pilots that will come shake your hand. You have military people that respect you because you are willing to put forth that effort to help make sure that these airplanes fly and that they can support our war fighters. And I think that's the best feeling ever. If you put a lot of effort into this, you're gonna go far because people are gonna appreciate you. You may not think so when you first get out there, but they're gonna appreciate you for what you've done.
In fact, thanks to Porscha's suggestions, mechanics at Tinker now use a different approach when repairing these simple electrical wires.
Well, these wires individually, there's 3 on the inlets, and they cost roughly around, with the connectors, $3,000 a piece. So, and we were doing 12 to 20 inlets a month, and we were cutting out every single one of them. What I had thought about was, why don't we just put a piece of fiberglass tape on it and then wrap it with safety wire in a way that couldn't come apart. And when it came out to it, it was $2.5 million that I had saved, and that's annually. And the fiberglass and the safety wire doesn't cost anything, so, and now it's actually in the books as a repair. You know, thank you for helping me. Now I'm helping you back to all those people that have helped fund me in the long run. I know I can't just write them a big fat check saying, "Oh, here's for all the years you've helped me," but hopefully, you know, if I can continue to keep saving money at Tinker, it's just gonna go right back in their pockets and they're gonna be like, "Wow, I've made so much money this year. I'll just donate some more."
Well, in her last story, Porsha Lippincott mentioned all the help she received to pull herself out of homelessness. And such emergency assistance is not uncommon at Metro Technology Center in Oklahoma City. Joining me now is the director of the MetroTech Foundation, Cathy Poteet. Well, I'm certainly impressed with Ms. Lippincott's story, but there's very similar stories all across the board when it comes to the MetroTech Foundation.
Yes, there really is. Our district is made up, you know, the urban core of Oklahoma City, and so there is a lot of poverty in that area. But we do serve high school students and adults. The foundation helps to assist students in financial situations so that the students can stay on track in their training. So, but we do have many, not unlike Porsha. Hers is probably more unique, but certainly lots of different types of situations.
Yeah, and what type of help are we talking about?
The foundation helps in a number of ways. We have certification, tools and uniforms, student emergency assistance, and we also have scholarships where it's merit-based. So really the kind of the dire of all of those are the emergencies.
Answering those needs not only helps the students, but a lot of these students come from either some tough backgrounds. They may have a family that depends upon this education as well.
That's absolutely right. We have a lot of high school students, you know, that you think because they're in high school they have the support of their families, and they do, but they're struggling too with finances. And then of course many adults who are, you know, they're coming through the programs trying to have a better life for themselves and their families. And so everyone in their family, they may have children, they may not, they may be married, but they're taking care of those, their family members as well.
Yeah, and I've had the opportunity to MC the MetroTech Foundation banquet for the past several years, and I'm always struck by the success stories that you meet there.
One of the students that you may recall is Rebecca Roy, and she is a single mother. When she began the program, she was married and with 2 small children, and you know, one day her husband just left her with $8 in the bank and 2 children and a mortgage, left the home. And she very much is trying to get on top of her education and get through, but now here she really was just about ready to drop out because she was behind on her mortgage, really probably was just going to have to go get a job and do it. However, she did seek some assistance through her director there. They came to the foundation and we were able to help her get caught up on her mortgage payment, and that kept her in school.
And some of these awards you give to the students, they may seem small, but they're really big in their lives.
They really are. When we were talking about emergency assistance, some of that is even just gas for their car to get to school, because if they don't have gas, They can't get to the campus. It results in a tardy or an absence, and those add up, and they can be, expelled just like, students in high school or college. So having gas in their car is a really big deal. You and I, we don't think anything of it. Rent is another one. Another common request is utilities. 24-hour cutoff notice, and you've got children at home on a Friday. So we work really hard to be responsive when those requests come in. To pay a utility bill or rent to avoid eviction, that's another issue. And then many times from one of our campuses, it's eyeglasses. So health, health is another, insurance is another thing that
Expense.
many students, that's right, absolutely right.
Yeah, well, those are certainly some inspiring stories. And if you'd like to find out more about the Metro Tech Foundation, we do have a link to them on our website. Cathy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Now, emceeing the Metro Tech Foundation banquet, I do have the opportunity, as I said, to learn the stories of a variety of students working to help their families have that better life. And one of my favorites is the story of Latifia Wright.
Latifia Right hammers away at Metro Tech's electrician class, a skill she really enjoys, but the road that got her here is anything but enjoyable.
They said that they found me pretty much in a doghouse with flea bites, tick bites, roach bites. You had to surgically remove my diaper.
At 2 years old, Wright was placed in foster care and for years was labeled a runner.
Was pretty polite, but I just ran away. I was a chronic AWOLer. You couldn't hold me down for nothing.
And at the age of 15, Wright ran to Atlanta, Georgia, where she found herself homeless.
I ate a pack of sardines and crackers every day from the convenience store, hustling up change off of whoever I could, doing whatever I could.
Yet her life changed when a man took her in and taught her the electrical trade.
And he took me to work with him, and that is when I learned how to do my first receptacle and hammer the nails and splice boxes.
Wright moved back to Oklahoma to try and reconnect with her family. After a failed attempt, she found herself a single mother of two needing a job. That's when she met her instructor.
I didn't think that they still made Mr. Martins anymore. The teachers that, really they don't care about money. The only thing he cared about is passing on knowledge.
Well, anyway,
An instructor, Jerry Martin, says she's every teacher's dream.
got a work ethic that's phenomenal. She works hard. She gives everything she's got to whatever she's doing. She's really the type of student you want as a teacher.
And according to Martin, Wright has what it takes for the business.
I think sky's the limit for her, but she really has just a desire to do electrical work.
As well as a desire to give back.
My long-term dream is to work in an electrical field, either start an all-women electrical company and build a teenage group home that's solar-powered.
And even with a jaded past, Wright now has the skills and the relationships for a happy life.
It's nice and neat.
I never could imagine that my life would be this good. Because when you struggle and you go through so much pain your whole life, you didn't know that good could happen. Everybody needs somebody, and I needed Metro Tech. It saved my life.